What's up, guys? I'm here with Jacob Blank. I was just featured on his YouTube channel.
Thanks, Scotty, for being here with me today. I'm excited, man, to learn.
It's hard to be trusted, right? You're literally putting everything out there, all your personal information, your social security, literally everything, right? And I had no money at the time.
But you've been helping hundreds of wholesalers get to making $100,000 a month.
I don't have that loser mentality. My end goal was to get into real estate somehow, some way. So I knew my only hurdle was my credit.
Thanks, Scotty, for being here with me today.
Absolutely.
I'm excited, man, to learn because, we were just talking about this before this, how I started with only $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 16 years old and I got into wholesaling, only having $3,000 to play with constricted me on what I was able to do. Mm-hmm. And I know you've been helping hundreds of wholesalers leverage a ton of capital in order to scale faster. So that way they can get their first deal faster and then from there get to making $100,000 a month. And I never knew about this credit stuff till I met you, and you've been showing me everything, and it's been fascinating. And so, yeah, thanks for being here. I just wanted to break it down. How did credit help you on your wholesaling journey? Because a lot of people don't know that you actually built a massive wholesaling business as well. So,
yeah, so it was actually in 2017, 2018 when I realized I needed to master credit. And the reason why is because I wanted to get into real estate. But a couple years prior to that, I was in a really bad motorcycle accident that I literally couldn't walk or work for about a year. So it destroyed my life, destroyed my credit along with that. And I wanted to get into real estate, and they said, well, you need to repair your credit so we can start leveraging it, buy some S-Corps, get some funding, and start investing into real estate. Well, I got ripped off, right? The credit space is kind of a gray area. It's hard to be trusted, right? You're literally putting everything out there, all your personal information, your social security, literally everything, right? And I had no money at the time anyways, but it was just $500 I invested into myself to repair my credit, and I got scammed, right? So I don't have that loser mentality, that victim mentality. My end goal was to get into real estate somehow, some way. So I knew my only hurdle was my credit. So I went to YouTube University, right? And I learned how to repair my credit. In literally less than 2 months, I went from a 532 to a 741. Wow. I deleted tens of thousands of dollars worth of collections, some inquiries, some late payments, went to 741, and of course, me being ignorant to finances, I went and bought my dream truck. I couldn't afford it at the time, but also, on top of that, I got access to a couple credit cards. Yep. Now, these were personal credit cards at the time. I didn't have a business or anything. And I maxed out both of these credit cards. I spent $10,000 into a mentorship program, which was Cody Sperber's, back when he was super big on YouTube, right? It was like him and Sean Terry all over YouTube. Yeah. So I spent $10,000 into this mentorship program, and then $1,000 into direct mail. And at the time, I was actually homeless, living in a camper. Right, so this just goes to show you don't have to have money to get into wholesaling, but you can make money faster, just like you said, when you do have access to capital. Yeah. So yes, I was homeless, living in a camper in the middle of the woods. My bank accounts were negative. I had nothing, I owned nothing, and I was in debt with a truck that I couldn't afford. Yeah. But these two credit cards allowed me to invest into myself, invest into some education, and I made $80,000 the very next month.
Wow, dude. Props to you for, having that mindset where you were willing to take that risk, right? And to leverage the credit and go for it. And that's huge that you got mentorship and then used the other credit card to invest in marketing. For me, I had that $3,000 that I was spending on marketing, and then I closed my first deal for $30,000. I was like 17 years old, and I took $25,000 and bought mentorship right after that. But if I had that mentorship before, I would have got my first deal so much sooner because it took me 8 months to get my first deal. Wow. Yeah, so I had a lot of, things that I did wrong and a lot of things I was trying to figure out on my own because I only had $3,000 to my name. I didn't have any credit that I could have used to go get a mentorship program, to buy a course online to just learn more. I didn't have access to money for that. So that's awesome, how you went about it. And that's just super impactful, guys. So if you're there, he was literally homeless, basically, $0 to his name. He was able to leverage credit to build out a business plan and conduct marketing and make $80,000 the next month. Yeah. Complete game changer. Yeah. So from there, I assume you saw, holy cow, credit, not only, I just got into this to repair my credit. Yeah. right? But this changed my whole life, essentially, the credit. So that's when you started to dive into it more, I assume.
Yeah, so obviously when you make that much money that fast, especially when you have nothing, my entire focus shifted to the real estate. But obviously, when you know that you have value that can solve hundreds, thousands, millions of people's problems, I'm a go-giver, right? I want to give back, and it was just like my natural inner self. I wanted to help people also repair their credit. So I kind of did it on the side. It was like super cheap at the time. Hey, a couple $100 here and there. I would help people repair their credit. And so also while scaling the wholesale business.
Yeah.
And obviously when I'm helping people with credit, I also have to learn and grow myself, right? And so I just kept mastering the credit game. And as I grew to being one of the top 50 wholesalers in the country, my audience became those people, became those business owners. And that's when credit repair shifted into like corporate credit.
Yeah.
So I started learning about the corporate credit game and how to leverage true business credit, where you're not at risk with the personal credit when you're maxing out credit cards and applying for funding and so on and so forth. And so I started going from helping friends and family to business owners, very successful business owners get capital, right? So I noticed this problem, and then I realized, I'm like, wow, there's just not enough money in credit repair.
Yeah.
And so I just went all in on the wholesaling, became one of the first InvestLift users, scaled nationwide. But the reason why I was able to do that is because I mastered the credit game first.
Yeah.
Take, for example, like COVID. I lost $2.4 million that month. What was it? In March, May of the month of COVID, I lost $2.4 million in my wholesale operation. And when most companies stopped and paused their business and it affected them 3, 6, 9 months down the road, I kept my marketing machines going because I wasn't cash depleted. I was able to leverage credit, right? And all of it was really 0% interest. So you can, business credit, if you don't know, you can max out your credit cards without it affecting your personal credit. So if you have $200,000 available credit on the personal side and you use $100,000 of it, your credit is going to be demolished because of the utilization, which is 30% of your overall score factor. Right? With business credit, if you have that same $200K available, you can use all $200,000 of it without it even affecting your personal credit. Right? So during COVID, that was traumatizing. I was able to fund my business all on 0% interest business credit.
And that's the good thing about credit too. Like, even if you don't need it, it's amazing to have it. And it's also amazing to have the knowledge that you need to be able to go out there and acquire it. So that way you can go, let's say we need 50 grand, right? And we want, to have 0% interest for the next 12 months. We have the knowledge to go acquire 50 grand with no interest on it and use that to save our business, use that to start another business, whatever it is, guys. So what are the main things and what is the top highlights of what are you teaching? What's game changing with the credit stuff? Like, what is the highlights of what you're bringing to the table as far as credit information?
Yeah. So it was around a year ago. My best friend, Robert Winsley, founder and CEO of InvestLift, we were in Norway on vacation for a month. And he has a huge audience with InvestLift, over 1,000 users. And one thing that we realized is marketing is getting more expensive, right? In order to scale, you need to feed the marketing machine and operational expenses. It's getting more expensive, just like our entire freaking economy, right? Yep. So that's when we were sitting down talking in Norway on vacation over New Year's and Christmas, and he said, you really need to go all in on this. There's so much value that you have to give, and we have a huge audience. Let's leverage that. Let's provide that to everyone. And that's when we decided to build Credit Lift. And in Credit Lift, I teach 4 main factors of credit. And as of right now, there's tons of people that do credit repair, corporate credit establishment, credit stacking, and travel hacking. But I'm really the first one known to teach all 4, everything that you need revolving around credit in one simple place. And that's Credit Lift, right? So whether you have bad credit and need to repair it, one thing that I specialize in is repairing credit in less than 5 days, right? It's our 5-day credit sweep. We can remove business credit inquiries, negative accounts, collections, charge-offs, remove all the negatives, and then establish your personal credit so you have a good, solid foundation, right? Ideally, we want to see people 740 plus personal credit with at least 5 personal trade lines, so credit cards reporting on your account with low utilization, so below 30%. And then if you are a business owner, establishing true corporate credit, creating your business credit so that way it's just as credible as you, the owner of the business. Now you have double leverage, right? So you have good personal credit, established corporate credit, and now the next step is credit stacking. It's the third aspect that we go over. And the most important thing with credit stacking is relationships with banks and lenders, right? We teach you how to establish those relationships, how to go out and get your own business relationship manager with top tier banks. And then we have every single data that you need with every single 0% interest business credit card in the entire country, right? So whether you're in New York, Florida, Nevada, here in Arizona, Oklahoma, it doesn't matter. We have every single business credit card with all the data that you need to apply. And we will literally help you create the perfect business credit stack. Right? That's the third aspect. Now, on top of that, as business owners, we spend tens of thousands of dollars a month in marketing, operational expenses, or whatever. So what we'll do is we'll help you optimize that spend. So you'll know exactly what credit card to use on what expense, so that way you can 4x the amount of rewards that you're earning. Now, what do we do with those rewards? We don't want cash back. If you do, you just don't understand the game. We can 8x, on average, 8x the value of those rewards to travel 100% free. On average, my wife and I will travel around the world. We'll save around $100,000 a year in free travel.
Yeah, it's wild. Guys, and I've been going through the program myself, through the Credit Lift program, and they teach you everything from how to analyze your credit report and clean it up, right? And then from there, if you do have issues with your report, they have a 5-day sweep where you're going to repair your credit in 5 days. Like the major things that are hurting you, that are affecting you, they're swept off within 5 days. Then you're going to establish all your personal credit, get everything right, so that way then you look the best for the banks. And then from there, we get into the business side. You guys show us how to create an LLC, how to set up your whole company. So forget credit. They're teaching you how to set up a business as well. And then from there, make your business profile look good. Make sure you have all your business filed with everything it needs to be, so that way you look the best for the banks. Same thing like that. So I've been going through the whole program. I'm like 50% through. It is super valuable when it comes to just general business knowledge. Like everything credit's in there, but on top of that, like you're learning stuff about business you should just know if you're trying to be a successful entrepreneur. So next segment of this video, guys, is I actually went through half the program. I'm at the point where I'm going to start credit stacking. I'm going to go out and apply for credit, so that way I'm getting cards that are going to benefit me the most, so then I can go and travel hack, right? That's the plan. I'm 22 years old now. I want to travel the world, but I spend $20,000, $30,000 a month on credit. That can give me the points, 8x return, and let me travel the world for free. So that's what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to learn. And so I have some questions here about my personal credit report of what do I need to do. I don't have anything bad on my report. I don't have any bad accounts or late payments, nothing like that, but I do have some discrepancies when it comes to my personal information. And so in this video, we wanted to bring you some value. Let's see what I can do to repair my personal report. So here's my questions after going through, and my report's on there as well.
All right, so the first one that we have is regarding your name. All right, so your name on your credit report, it looks like there's a couple bureaus that it's inaccurate. There's different name, or it's not your full name. Can you clarify what that is? So is it Jacob Blank on one, just Jacob on one, or what?
So what we've got is TransUnion, I have Jacob Blank.
Okay.
Experian has Jacob Ian Blank, which is my middle name. And then Equifax has Jacob Blank. So it's just Experian that's different.
Okay.
But would it be better to fix TransUnion and Equifax so they all have my middle name, or just fix Experian? Which was super interesting that I found out, right?
Yeah.
These are private companies that have a major impact on everybody's life.
Yeah.
And they're, it's not a government entity. They're obviously regulated, but it's interesting, you know, the credit detriments everybody. Like your score is everything in the United States, kinda.
No, 100%.
And so it was wild when I found that out.
100%. Yeah, so it's super important that you have everything on all three bureaus accurate and consistent, right? So the fact that you have one inconsistency with your name, really what you need to do is make it easier for the bureaus to identify you, right? So anytime that you apply for anything, any bills that you put, you want to make sure that you are also consistent with what you're putting on all your applications, bank accounts, literally everything, right? So if it's just Jacob blank or Jacob middle initial blank or Jacob full name, right? Be consistent so that the bureaus can also be consistent. That way it's easier to verify you, which will result in easier approvals, right? So with that, you can just simply send in a letter, or actually, since it's Experian.
So should on Experian? Yeah, what should I do?
Just log into Experian.com. I always recommend signing up for Experian.com and then paying for all three reports. That's the most accurate reporting that you're going to get. You can just simply log into Experian.com, go to Experian profile, and dispute name change. Super simple. It can be fixed within just a few hours.
Perfect.
All right.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm trying to get all my info the same because I want the easiest approvals. That's the goal. Okay, so the next one is regarding my birth date. Two of them have my full birth date, and Experian again only has the year. So Experian only has 2002. The other ones have my full birthday. What should I do there?
So same exact thing, right? They cannot verify. Think about it. You put your birthday on every single bank loan application, apartment rental, anything, right? You have to put your birthday. How can they verify that this Jacob blank is you by your birthday? They would have no idea.
Yeah, it's going to hurt me on approvals if they only see the year. That's super tough, so that one does matter a lot. Next one is my current address, right? So two of them have it wrong, and one of them has my office address. Now, is it bad to have an office address on your personal credit report?
Yes and no. Now this gets really into the details of certain banks and applications. It's one, you want to have just one singular address, so your primary address. If you have multiple addresses, old addresses, and they're connected to old accounts, you'll want to remove them. Reason being is if you have any inquiries or negative accounts or anything that's attached to the old addresses, if you remove those addresses first and then go to dispute those closed off, charge-offs, collections, accounts, they can't verify that that was yours because they're going to use other information. It was connected to that other address. So remove the address and then dispute those accounts.
Got you. Okay, so an office address is fine though? As long as it's on all of them?
Yes, it is fine because some business credit cards and loans and whatnot will actually verify your personal information. And if they also see your business address on there, it's just a double verification.
Okay, so for TransUnion and Equifax, they have it wrong. For that, I got to use one of the letters in the program. Okay, and not just with the law, right? It needs to align, right?
Yep, everything has to be consistent, and you can just add a little summary right there. I also recognized that my name and address was inconsistent. This is the current full name. This is my full accurate name, and this is my current full address.
Sweet. And then next is previous addresses. There's a bunch of random ones on all credit bureaus. Should I just ask to remove all those?
Yeah.
Tell them they're wrong?
So hey, these are the correct. So before that, you want to say, hey, these addresses are not my addresses. I have never previously lived here. Please remove them from my report.
Employers are all blank for me. Mm-hmm. Should I have my main company, my main LLC listed as my employer on all of them?
Absolutely, employer. And here's another little piece of advice. When getting funding and applying for funding, you are not the owner of a company. Do not put self-employed. You are an employee of your company, okay? This is going to help tremendously when applying for funding.
So next thing that's super interesting is inquiries. Mm-hmm. TransUnion has 1, Experian has 3, and Equifax has 0 inquiries.
Beautiful, okay.
So they're not aligning, so I assume I can reach out to Experian and TransUnion with letters and say, hey, I have 0, because they need to align.
Well, here's the thing with inquiries. Every single bank, and this is why it's important to have this data, every single bank is going to pull from different bureaus, right? So I know just from the data that here in Arizona and Nevada where I live, and primarily the West Coast, places like PNC, Chase Bank, they're going to pull from Experian. Where US Bank might pull from Equifax, where Capital One might pull from all three, right? So you're going to get inquiries reported on some bureaus and some others.
But I can't remove those. Instead, what I can do is I can leverage that, and I can say, let me go find a bank that only pulls from Equifax because I have zero there, and go leverage that.
There you go.
Gotcha. And these all get removed after 2 years as well.
So, and here's the thing with business credit inquiries is you can actually remove those in literally 24 hours. Why? Because business inquiries should not be reporting on your personal credit. And here's a little hack with Experian that I'm sure you've learned by now, the 24-hour inquiry removal. With Experian, you can just simply call in to the fraud department and say, hey, I noticed 3 inquiries on my report that I don't recognize. I'm concerned that someone might have my identity and be attempting to apply for funding. I'd like to, have these removed, and then, place a little temporary credit freeze on Experian just to kind of solidify the fact that you're just calling in to protect yourself. Now, you can literally see those wiped out in less than 24 hours.
For those business inquiries.
Now you have 0 on Equifax, and you have 0 on Experian, and then you have what, 1 on TransUnion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so TransUnion can simply be removed following our 5-day sweep process or filing a complaint with the CFPB and FTC and wiping that out with anywhere from 24 hours to about a week.
And again, you only want to do that with business ones, not personal cards.
Do not personal.
Because
no.
that'll hurt you bad, your credit. Your credit history, that'll.
Right. With the business credit inquiries, they cannot connect that to an open account. So therefore, you saying, hey, I don't recognize this inquiry, anything like that, it's more solidified.
Okay, cool. The last thing is going to be, which is an interesting one. So I do have a personal Bank of America credit card.
Okay.
And I've had this card since I was like 16 years old, okay? Mm-hmm. But in February of this year, I applied for a business Bank of America card. Mm-hmm. Now I want to remove the business Bank of America inquiry, but I'm worried that it's going to affect somehow my personal card and get that account closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry about that, because when you go to remove that inquiry, what you'll do is you'll put the inquiry date. And what they're looking at is they're going to look at that date that the inquiry showed up versus any open accounts. Remember, they want to verify it with an open account. Gotcha. And they are going to see an open Bank of America account, but from several years ago, not from the date that the inquiry showed up.
Yeah, so this is sweet. All my stuff in the past 2 years is business. So I'm going to be able to remove all my inquiries. I'll be at 0 across the board. And I'm going to be able to go out there, finish the credit lift program, and I'm going to be able to apply for probably $250,000 at least in credit.
Yeah, minimum, I'm sure, especially with your profile. Our average credit stack sequence is $232,000, right? And now we have a VIP program where I work one-on-one with private clients where I will analyze your credit and I will put together your credit stack, right? And I look at it, you have a clean blank slate. So I could literally plan your entire credit stack out for the next 2 years. And I'm estimating anywhere from around $500,000.
Sweet. Oh, $500,000 in capital, at my fingertips, and I'll be able to know exactly what cards to use on what expenses, so that way I get the most return and rewards. And I'll be traveling the world in no time. You guys will be seeing it. I'll be going all over to the coolest places. So I'm excited.
First class only, and we don't pay for it. Now,
Yes,
there
sir.
is one thing. You do not have to spend $20,000, $30,000 a month like most business owners. We can see that if you don't even have to have a business to be able to travel hack. There's personal cards that allow you to travel. Really, it's the sign-up bonuses and you using them in the right categories that's going to allow you to gain enough rewards to be able to travel hack.
There's also one thing that I do want to mention. Even if you don't have a ton of expenses, everybody's biggest expense is where they live. Whether you rent or whether you pay a mortgage, Scotty shows you what card to get where you're actually able to pay your mortgage or your rent with a credit card and get rewards on that. So I'm going to be paying my rent, my mortgage, my office rent, all with the credit card. Right there's like $9,000, $10,000. Boom, right there, just on stuff I rent. So
Yeah, that one's amazing. It has travel partners that no other bank or credit card has, so that's an amazing card. So if you rent, and now, starting in 2025, you can now use that same credit card for your mortgage and starting 2025. Now, I'm not going to mention what card that is, but if you follow me on Instagram and DM me credit, or is it Lyft? DM me Lyft, and I will send you a link to apply for that credit card.
Also, guys, there's going to be a link down below in the description for a special promotion for you guys watching this video for you to join the Credit Lift program. Guys, it's not very expensive to get started with this. They charge monthly. So right now it's $198 a month. I'm going to see what I can do to get you guys a special discount as well. And so, guys, it's not like you have to pay thousands of dollars to get into this program. It's literally $198 a month is what it starts at. And you're able to start learning everything that we've went over in this video. So there's going to be a link down below. So make sure to check that out. But other than that, do you have anything else to mention in this video? I think that was a ton of value.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm all about, is providing value, right? You know, my primary focus is real estate. I'm in real estate, and my goal is just to create as many millionaires in real estate or business as possible, right? And the way I did it was by leveraging credit. Right? So if you want to start a business, scale your business, or buy a business, credit is the way. So if you want to learn how, just shoot me a DM or hit the link below. Follow Jacob's link for a great discount, and see you in the 800 Club.
You know, the big thing is, right, my main thing is wholesaling real estate. That's what I'm good at, right? Well, I don't know the credit stuff, so I go find the master at that, and I go learn from them. Make sure you guys aren't wasting your time, you know, trying to figure it out on your own and making mistakes, right? Go learn from the best. That's how you're gonna speed up your growth, speed up your progress, and really achieve your goals so much faster. So Scotty's the guy to learn credit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope we provided a bunch of value. Remember that link down below for Credit Lift. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the red button and subscribe. But other than that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.